Hey everyone, welcome to PunkCast. My name is William Maxwell. I'm a student of Web3 and the owner of Punk3690. CryptoPunks are 10,000 uniquely generated characters stored permanently on the Ethereum blockchain. No punk is the same. This is a show dedicated to celebrating the punks behind the punk. My hope for this podcast is that we capture the essence of the punk culture, elevate the brand and the individual behind the punk. One last thing. Projects discussed on the show is not financial advice. Crypto and NFTs are a volatile and risky asset class. Please always do your own research. Other than that, let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of PunkCast. Today we've got Punk3690. He's a 3 Atty with nerd glasses, mutton chops, and of course, another dope knitted cap. He's a serial entrepreneur founding many Web3 projects such as OGStudio, 0x32, Web32, Love Lost Dolls, and PunkEsodes. Please welcome to the show, Gilles. How are you, Gilles?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
GM,
good afternoon. GM. So Gilles, where are you dialing in from today?
From Belgium. I'm living in Belgium right now, so
nice. And, is it getting cold there over there, or?
It's getting more and more cold. Yeah, I'm just back from my vacation. Actually, my honeymoon from Zanzibar, and the difference with the temperature there and here is quite big. And
amazing. Well, congratulations, mate. Congratulations on your wedding. And really excited to have you on the show today because I just recognized that you did PunkEsodes, which I did mint because I do want my lunchbox at some stage. But we can talk about that. But perhaps we can kick off the conversation. Just maybe if you can help everybody just get a little bit acquainted to you and your background. You know, where you were brought up, what you studied, and how you got into Web3.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I did my studies in finance in Belgium here. It's not that long ago, so still early in my career. And yeah, during my studies, I was already experimenting a lot with Bitcoin back then. Later on Ethereum, and was really starting to get passionate about Web3 in general. So it was back then. It was very active on Reddit, and yeah. Was always more interesting to be on the Reddit than do my actual studies. Still managed to get my degree, but the blockchain space was more interesting, of course. After my studies in finance, I started as a consultant in finance, but I didn't do that very long. I felt that the urge to be an entrepreneur was very big, to do things, to create things. So I started first at like a small episode as a freelancer, but then I started actually with a beer venture. So I still have my own beer brand here in Belgium. It's called Cowboy. It's the phonetic of cowboys here. And during Corona, during COVID, I had another beer venture with draft systems that I brought at home to people to have like smaller parties, because it was not allowed to go to the bars back then, and you could just do a smaller event with your family at home. So I was bringing around draft systems with small kegs. So that was another beer venture. And then, but during those times, I was always, at night and during the day also, very busy with Web3. And then the NFT space started booming. I finally found a way to put my passion for blockchain into a real business. Started OGStudio and a couple of other projects with some amazing co-founders who are also here in the office. So
amazing.
Yeah.
And so maybe let's just go back a little bit. So was it 2017 that you really started taking interest into crypto?
Actually 2015. So
Reddit. So really early then.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was on Reddit. You had the tipping bot, change tip. That was my first encounter with Bitcoin. So I received a tip for a comment that I made on Reddit, and then got into the rabbit hole, like you say. And also, I was back then I was really interested in nootropics, and some nootropics were hard to buy here in Belgium, and you had to use cryptocurrencies to buy them. So it was that was the first time I was really using cryptocurrencies.
So was that on Silk Road back then?
No, it was not. Nootropics were more like the gray zone. It's like L-theanine, like the substance that is in green tea and stuff like that. But still, it was very hard to order it here in Belgium. It's more than I think in the States. And yeah, so that was, but no Silk Road.
No, I find that interesting because I sort of ventured down the nootropics path, right, after listening to a lot of Tim Ferriss podcasts, because he would talk about some of these things about maximizing brain power, etc. as well. What made you interested in nootropics at the time? What was your curiosity in that space?
First of all, because I have a very it's very difficult for me to focus on the things that I have to do. So for my studies, it was quite difficult sometimes. So I had to. I was really active in searching solutions for that, and one of those solutions were nootropics. But the danger there was that you were searching for nootropics to be to do your studies better, but on the flip side, then you were more reading full days into nootropics than actually doing your studies. So
you get that rabbit hole for sure. Yeah. And then, so what was it for you that I guess sparked your interest into, I guess, Bitcoin and then ultimately sort of Ethereum? Like what was the hooking point for you where you sort of said, actually, I'm going to hang out in this Reddit. I'm really super interested about it. It means a lot to me. I'm curious about digging further.
Yeah, I think it clicked really early for me that you have this digital asset that you can really own, that no other party can take from you. That was a really interesting thought back then. And then it was really more like what do people with this? Back then it was a lot of more sketchy things. You read about Silk Road, of course. You check what this Silk Road is and try to be there.
I think we've all been there.
So I checked it, of course. And then you go into there is these other types of coins. Dogecoin was starting back then as a meme, and some really funny things happened with Dogecoin being used for I think they did a lot of for charity back then, and really into this Reddit community, they pulled money to do crazy stuff, which was more like the early days for the culture of Web3 to start. And it was really attractive at that time to see people do things with this magic internet money that normally would not be possible.
Yeah. Amazing sort of invention for sure. And then what was your sort of transition into Ethereum and then ultimately to CryptoPunks? What was that like?
Ethereum was I think it started also then. No, it was the time of the ICO of Ethereum actually again. And Ethereum was a little bit later for me. I think 2017 I started with early 2017 with experimenting with Ethereum. For me it was more like an altcoin like others, to trade against Bitcoin. So I didn't do a lot of trading, but for me it was sometimes I had my Bitcoin and then I would think about I need more Bitcoin, so I'm going to buy these altcoins versus Bitcoin and try to make more Bitcoin. and Ethereum was one of them. But then later on, it clicked that okay, this can do a little bit more. There is a lot of people building on Ethereum. The ecosystem was growing, and yeah, I'm always with the experimental mindset that I don't really buy an altcoin or Bitcoin without trying to do something with it. And for Ethereum, I think the first use cases that I really found interesting were ENS, very early ENS, and CryptoKitties back then. Also, very cool use case. It was actually the first counter with NFTs too. Then,
so ENS was actually made that long ago. ENS was basically around CryptoKitties time as well. I didn't know that.
Yeah. The first I minted my first ENS pre-punk. So you have now this category in ENS, pre-punk ENS names, and that's actually predated for the CryptoPunks contract was deployed. It's really interesting.
What did you mint if it's not personal?
Back then, my first ENS was free -ether.eth. So nice. Back then it was another mechanism. Like now, it needed to be more than 7 characters to mint an ENS. It was also a different smart contract. So the way it was that you needed to it was some sort of an auction actually. You registered for an ENS name, and then it was up for auction. And if no one outbids you, you received the ENS after a time frame.
Cool.
So, and yeah, it was really interesting. But I missed the CryptoPunks in that period.
Yeah, so maybe talk about how you sort of found your way into CryptoPunks. Like I think you said that you got into CryptoKitties as well.
Yeah.
And then how did you sort of transition into CryptoPunks? What was that like? What did you sort of find out about them?
So yeah, I didn't find out about them back then. So it was only ENS and CryptoKitties, and I was really focused on CryptoKitties. I even did. I was not an entrepreneur yet, and I even did some sort of internal keynote at the finance company back then about CryptoKitties, and everyone was looking like, "What the fuck is this guy doing with digital cats that can breed and that you can sell on a marketplace for some Ethereum, which is not even real money." So it was a really funny period. And then it actually disappeared for quite some time, the NFT space. So I bought my CryptoPunk in 2021. But I must have been on Reddit across the CryptoPunk thing, but never caught my attention actually. So I think I really knew about the CryptoPunks in early 2021 with the new NFT boom.
Got it.
I think it was a very silent period.
Maybe it'd be interesting just to go back to CryptoKitties because I haven't bought any CryptoKitties as well. But could you just explain a high level what CryptoKitties is for everybody?
Yeah, it was actually the first kind of notion of NFTs that went somehow more mainstream in the crypto space, I think. And you could first you minted, I think, a CryptoKitty, and then if you have 2 CryptoKitties, you could breed, but you could also breed with other people's CryptoKitties. So it was like it started with a scarce amount of CryptoKitties, and it has an infinite supply afterwards because of the breeding.
Okay.
It was not.
Is that? And what's the supply must be huge by now, right?
Yeah. I think I don't know if people really played active anymore, but okay. I know I bought one CryptoKitty in 2021. I still have some originals of mine from back then, but I know about one from generation 0, I think. Or no, it was another kind of system. But it's at like a thesis that I wanted to buy one of the first CryptoKitties I think I spent like 0.3 or something on it, just to have
And
one of those early CryptoKitties that is provable on chain. But I don't think there is much value anymore in that ecosystem. It was a very fun period that inspired a lot of NFT projects afterwards. But I think it's history a little bit.
absolutely. And then how did you? I mean, was it natural for you to understand digital assets and ownership via sort of a JPEG back then? If you were going out and giving speeches about NFTs in some ways.
That's a very interesting question, which I talk a lot about with friends my age. But I think it felt natural because I have a history in playing RuneScape a lot. I don't know if you know RuneScape, but it's like this MMORPG from our childhood where you have this first notion of, okay, you have scarce digital goods that you can trade with other people. You can get scammed out of these goods. You can lose them. You can lose access to your account. You can get scammed from your account. So it feels that this whole ownership of digital assets that I already experienced it in my childhood with RuneScape, with these clans together playing against other clans and stuff like that. And I think clans are like the NFT communities from now. So there are a lot of similarities, but without blockchain and without the actual ownership of a digital asset, what we could have now with the technology.
Okay, that's cool. It's interesting. I think when you sort of talk about games, I think I ask that question quite often on PunkCast. Mm-hmm. And I think most people get NFTs because they come from a gaming background, and it's quite easy for them to understand, or some sort of, basketball card trading sort of collection. I think that makes it a little bit easier to sort of understand the concept. But I guess for the most part, people that don't engage with that still find it a bit of a mental challenge or hurdle to get into, right?
Yeah, indeed.
And then and so just flashing back to, I guess, CryptoPunks then. Maybe let's just talk about how you picked out 3690. So with the mutton chops, the glasses, and the knitted cap. Like, were you searching around for it, or was this the first one you went to and you just sort of bought? Like, what was your thinking process around it?
I think I was searching for some weeks already, like just scrolling every day through the floor punks, because I believe that I was not really interested to have like a rare one or something. So floor punks page was enough for me. But I don't really felt it with one of the punks, and then just saw one that popped out of the scrolling on my screen, and that was 3690. I think it's because of the colors, the blue from the nerd glasses combined with the orange of the knitted cap, which I find really interesting. The orange and blue together.
It's a nice contrast.
Yeah. So it was the one that really popped out, and then I only had I decided really quick. I know in the Discord there were a lot of people complaining like, oh shit, I saw this one too. I wanted to buy it, and I was like, yes, I have the right one.
No, it's an awesome punk. And then what sort of compelled you to buy it? Because back then, this is sort of before the pump came along. Yeah. From recollection, at that point in time, like 16 ETH was still a fairly expensive number to spend on an NFT, right? Like, what sort of got you over the line with the purchase?
I think it's a combination of already having this notion from the past of like the CryptoKitties, that I saw there was value in digital assets. And like the RuneScape gaming, I saw that there were like very rare party hats back then that went for a lot of in-game currency, but that in-game currency was also sold for real money, PayPal and credit cards. So I had this notion already, and for me the 2021 NFT boom started with Bored Apes. I just missed the mint, but I had one fairly quick. And yeah, I just felt like, okay, this is going to explode this year. It was a feeling, and I think it was quite correct eventually.
It's a good bet.
Yeah.
Cool. And then and so like what are you working on now? I think you sort of mentioned a few Web3 projects at the moment. Like what are sort of some of the key things you're sort of working on at the moment?
So yeah, the main thing I'm working on now is the Web3 studio that I co-founded with 4 other people. Also, very early crypto people from different backgrounds. So we called it OGStudio, not only for original gangster, but also because we promote the concept of ownership generation. So it's ownership generation studio, and we're quite full stack. So we have someone who is very good with design. We have a smart contract wizard, people that are very strategic and technical also. So we help brands to do their Web3 strategy. Also do a lot of education nowadays, because that's one of the most important things for industry right now. But we can also execute on things. So, for example, we did a very fun project for one of the most famous Belgian award shows for creative companies, where we put their awards for different advertising campaigns on chain, and really explained it like, okay, your name, because you worked on this advertisement, is forever on chain. So in 50 years, your family will see that you won this NFT for working on this project. And then these awards were like 3D. The output of the NFT was like a 3D statue, like the Oscar statues, and we put them in on Cyber to really visualize it, because it makes it a little bit more tangible for people that are not in this space to see it in a virtual environment, and let them believe like this is really your asset in this virtual environment that you own, or that you won. So that's cool. So that's
cool.
That's the things that we are doing with the studio. On the flip side, we're not only working for brands, but doing our own projects, like the Punk3690 project, and the Love Lost Dolls.
Do you want to just give everybody an overview of Punkisodes, what that is?
Yeah, Punkisodes is actually an idea that exists for a long time within our studio, and it was triggered by when the IP rights of the CryptoPunks were still under Larva Labs. There was a lot of things around it, like what can you actually do with the IP, because it was not very clear from Larva Labs. And we thought about a system like, okay, if you can mint with your CryptoPunk some sort of factory, and with this factory you can mint merchandise items, all on chain in pixel art, where the CryptoPunk goes through the factory on the merchandise items. Then you can mint something that doesn't have IP from CryptoPunks with your punk, so it's token gated minting, and then you can decide for your own what you mint from merchandise items. We provide the tools for you to mint merchandise items. We don't earn anything on it, but you can decide. You're in the driver's seat with your punk, what you do with it. So you could sell your lunchbox, for example. That's one of the first marketing gimmicks, a little bit from the meme of Noah that he
absolutely.
It's still something like it was a pilot for us, but the real project is that we want to provide a system for CryptoPunks to leverage their IP, where they can really decide how to do it.
That's cool. Just for everybody listening, the lunchbox meme came out because I think when Yuga acquired the Lava Labs IP rights, I think a lot of the punks were a little bit scared that Yuga was going to do something cringe or cheesy with the CryptoPunk IP. And I think the meme was, we don't want to be on lunchboxes, or we don't want to be on, school bags and the like. And so every morning when Noah came on and said good morning, it was when lunchbox. And so yeah, it's pretty funny how all the punks got around that. But I'm still waiting though. I actually want a lunchbox now. I'm still pretty keen on getting one. But and so now this is really exciting stuff, man. And so, like, of all the things you could be doing, I mean, you've selected to be a Web3 consultancy. I mean, what do you sort of see in Web3 that you're putting all your time and dedication and investing into this sort of space right now?
Yeah, I think the main part we see now is that we need a lot of education to do now. We have a lot of education. So we're doing keynotes for companies. We do strategy workshops, but always with a touch of practicality. Like if we do a strategy workshop, we onboard the members that are doing it from the company on a MetaMask, and we let them claim a POAP, for example, so that they really have this feeling of, okay, now I have a wallet. Oh, and you don't need any cryptocurrency to make a wallet on MetaMask and claim a POAP, for example. But that's our first notion of like, okay, now I have this wallet and I own a token that I was here in this meeting. And we tell them like, okay, in 50 years, you can still show this token with your wallet address if you keep your wallet address to other people that you were there. So that's some of the things we are doing. So we're really early still and doing like this evangelist stuff. And then we hope to do experiments for big brands out of this strategy. And we are managing to do some of these experiments, which is really fun to do now. So really early, but cool things to do.
No, much needed. And, I sort of feel like they do need legitimate Web3 people helping guide and advise them in Web3 in the right way. And I think we sort of find a lot of brands wanting to get in because of the buzzwords, but not really knowing where to start. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the, I keep shitting on a lot of the LinkedIn advisors out there at the moment. They're going off and saying that they can do a whole bunch of NFT stuff and help them market. But the reality is they haven't been in the space bottom up. And I think it's a really missed opportunity. So I can definitely see the value that you could bring to a lot of these Web2 companies. Yeah,
I agree on the LinkedIn cringe is amazing. And even now in the bear market, we hope that it would die down a little bit, but still it's
yeah, absolutely.
We need to prevent this from within the Web3 community we need to claim the platform to spread the Web3 promises. So
absolutely. And look, I'm like, I sound like a hater for Web2 people trying to advise and get everybody excited for Web3, and we should be inclusive. I'm all for that. But I just sort of feel like if Web2 companies get the wrong advice, they do something very short-term and transactional. It burns their customers and it burns their brand, and they won't come back. And so net, it's going to be a loss for us long-term, right? And so that's why, like, I'm really trying to push and get more Web3 people connected with Web2 world to get things up and running and rolling, right? So yeah. And then just maybe going back to, I guess, your NFT sort of career, and I know you're more of a builder than necessarily a trader, but just out of curiosity, like what do you collect? What do you like collecting the most? And I guess, why do you collect?
Yeah. I like to collect. That's actually a good question. Very different things. I think I'm always looking at my collection and think like, okay, what do I miss? And for now, for example, I feel that I miss a lot of generative art. So I'm reading into generative art again, which I really find an interesting.
what do you find interesting about gen art? Like, I absolutely love gen art, but what do you find interesting about it?
The thought of like it's a combination of human creativity and like this randomness of an algorithm. So it's like leveraged human creativity that you see on some
Absolutely
way. So that's a very interesting thought, I think. It's also the same with this AI wave that we are seeing now with stable diffusion, that you just do a text prompt, which is a human creative process, but then it leverages that creative process to an output that is more than human sometimes.
Yeah, I still haven't got my head around the AI stuff, but I know another punk, Claire Silver's been pushing AI art pretty hard, and some of it looks actually really cool. Mate, I'm just looking through your wallet. You've got some really interesting things in here. Obviously, you've got Moonbirds, you've got V1 Punks, but I also see you have a project called Zunks in here. What made you buy Zunks?
I think that was at that time that there were a lot of things to buy, and I tend to, if I buy something, I'm more of a collector that don't have this thing like, okay, now I need to sell it at some point. So, and Zunks were like a short thing that caught my attention, but then it died down and it's there in the wallet. So I don't know actually.
Yeah. Do you know who the creator was?
Yeah, it's linked with it's the Zagabond.
That's right, from Azuki.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny. Yeah, it is. I mean, I aped a massive bag of Zunks around the same time, because I think at that point, shit punks were the latest craze, right? Funks came out, Zunks, and all those other bits and pieces. But yeah, just so everybody knows, a Zunk with a Z is basically a crypto punk that has different traits from the original CryptoPunk. So they sort of market themselves as the next 10,000 CryptoPunks. But I've got to say the actual, the artwork and everything else looks spot on, and the contract and the product looks really good, right? And at that time, Zagabond was absolutely anonymous, and he wouldn't give the community much love, right? So it was funny how that sort of uncovered. But that was another scandal in the space.
Yeah.
Cool. And then do you actually have any sort of projects that you're watching closely or you're interested in buying into in this bear market?
For now, I think I'm starting to get this feeling again to watch out for projects that are surviving, like really executing now. One that I'm eyeing right now is Deadfellas. I think it's a really interesting project. It's I think the floor is quite low versus their all-time high, but you see this kind of projects where the community somehow died a little but they are still executing. So it's a main thing. All communities are like dying a little bit down, but I think the strong projects for the next cycle are the ones that keep going and don't go back to Web2 stuff or something. I don't know.
Of course. I absolutely missed Deadfellas. What's the floor now? Do you know?
I think it's 0.9 or something. 0.8.
Okay, yeah, I heard there was a pump there, and I just sort of faded it, right? But all right, cool. Yeah. And then I guess when you look back in your NFT career, like, do you have a special moment that or a special win that comes to mind?
The biggest win for me is that I started OGStudio with some amazing co-founders. So a company that I own a part of, that I can work for, that I can bring my passion in and earn my monthly income to pay all my bills. So that's the biggest win for me.
Fantastic. When did you get that started?
It's the company is registered like in January this year, but we were working on it for more than a year from.
Nice. So congratulations on that. That is a big win too. And And do you have like a worse loss or any regrets in your NFT career to date?
Yeah, of course there are some regrets, like the financial ones, like I should have sold this or that. But eventually, I think it's if you go into the NFT space with the mindset, I want to earn money. It's by just collecting or flipping. It takes a lot of time and energy from you, and I think you don't win a lot with it. So I think it's very difficult, and so I'm not looking to the financial should haves or the things that are, for example, a Moonbird. I bought it at the top, so but I don't look at it like that way, because it can. In the past I did it maybe like everyone, but it takes a lot of mental energy from you, and you need that energy somewhere else. So
absolutely. But Moonbirds is a good project. I think the team there is pretty strong. So I think they're another building team that's just going to do their thing, right? So I think they'll be okay. And then any sort of big lessons or insights that you've garnered over your NFT or crypto career that you want to share?
Lessons or insights is that's a difficult one.
That's okay. We can move on to the next one. Do you have a favorite punk personality that comes to mind?
That's a good one. I think I'm following G-Money a lot. I think maybe also a little bit biased with knitted cap, but it's like the ape version of the ape leader of the knitted cap gang or something.
Absolutely, thought leader. He did that project with Anthony Hopkins that's just released. The actor, I think it just came out recently. So I was just watching a little bit of his podcast the other night, but I don't know how good the project is or what it's about yet.
But I think he's doing a very great job in bringing Web3 culture out there in the mainstream, and that's something that helps the whole industry. So
absolutely,
very cool.
And I think I also saw you had a couple Adidas into the metaverse NFTs, where you could claim some merch, and I'm still waiting for the orange beanie to come out and make it mainstream.
Yeah, indeed. That would be one that I would actually wear on occasion, because I feel like a lot of merch, I collect the merch, but then I think, like, where do I need to wear this?
Man, I've got about 20 hats and about 30 hoodies in my closet at the moment, so I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then if you had to describe punk culture in a few words, how would you describe punk culture?
Yeah, I think in a few words, it's something that started as some counterculture in some way, and then evolves to like builder culture. Like I think the punks are, first you have the very vocal counter people, but I think now you have the subset of punks that are the builders that are standing up. So I think they all have like this innovative mindset and try to do things different than what they've been learned or what society thinks that they need to do. So that's the counter part, and now they're like really building what they believe in, I think. So
absolutely,
it's interesting to see.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask you this question because I sort of also see that you have a Bored Ape in your wallet.
Yeah.
And a Moonbird for that matter. What's the key reason for you in terms of building or using your punk as your profile picture, as your main profile picture?
Yeah, I feel more connected with being a punk than with an ape, for example. And it's hard to explain why, but I think the thing I just said about this counter and builder culture, it's more in the punks than in apes. Apes is more like it's a different feeling that I have there. So it's more it feels more hyped for me. which is they are doing a lot of cool stuff, and some apes are building a lot of cool stuff. But they're like to link my identity to some NFT, then I would always prefer the punk, feel more like a punk.
Cool. And if you could pass on a message to the next owner of your punk, what would you like to say to them?
Keep building.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. Gilles, so this has been a really fun session. I guess, is there any closing comments on your side, and also, maybe ways to sort of find and connect with you?
To connect with me, I have my Twitter. My handle is Punk3690. There's a nice 69 in the number, which I also like very much. And you can. We have a website for OGStudio, so it's OG hyphen and then studio.xyz. Can mail me there. And one very cool thing for other punks is Punks Club, for example. It's one.
Are you part of Punks Club?
Yeah,
Are you probably one of the builders of Punks Club? So is that with Wojtek?
Yeah, I'm not in the team but I follow the project closely, and I'm on the platform, so
yes.
all my socials linked.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Awesome. I'll put them in the show notes for sure. But hey, this was really fun, Gilles. We should definitely do this again some point in time. But love chatting with you, and wish you all the best on your future journey.
Likewise, it's very fun to do. And
awesome. And guys, that wraps it up for PunkCast for this week. And we'll see you again next week for another episode. Bye now.